Good morning and welcome to The Brief. Here's a look at your trending stories this morning. Lakshman Yapa and Gamini Thilakatsiri replaced Dulles and Bandula as SLFP party organisers. Civil society organisations accuse officials of attempting to cover up court transaction irregularities. The Ministry of International Trade inks controversial agreement with US firm. Two new organisers of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party received their letters of appointment from the party chairman, President Maithripala Sirisena, yesterday.
State Minister Lakshman Yapa was appointed as the SLFP's district leader for Mathura. Abhibodhana received his letter of appointment from the President this afternoon. Lakshman Yapa takes over the reins of Mathura district leader from his predecessor MP Dallas Alaperuma. Meanwhile, Western Province Minister Gamini Thilakatsiri was appointed as the new electorate organizer for Homagama of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The post was previously held by parliamentarian Bandula Gunawardena.
Civil society organizations are accusing officials of attempting to cover up irregularities in coal transactions and continuing to maintain that there are benefits for the country. An English language newspaper reported yesterday that the Secretary to the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, Dr. Suren Batagoda, had said that coal had been purchased under long-term tender, claiming that it is more beneficial than spot tenders.
Plans are underway to purchase a further 330,000 tons of coal by September. Dr. Suren Batagoda, the Secretary to the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, noted that approval would be granted for the procurement. Meanwhile, in a statement to the Daily News, which was published today, Dr. Batagoda says that the ministry may resume purchase from their long-term supplier Swiss Singapore as the price is lower than what was quoted in a recent spot tender. The price quoted by Swiss Singapore is $58 per metric ton. Batagoda had told the newspaper that a spot tender called for last week had a lowest price of $64.77. He noted that resuming purchase from the Swiss Singapore would result in a saving of about $7 per metric ton. However, civil society organizations charge that these prices are misleading. The ministry has introduced a formula to determine prices when purchasing under long-term tenders. The relevant index for this formula is the API 4 index. As per this index, the current purchase will cost $66.10 per metric ton. The $58 price quoted here is the price agreed to with the supplier at the moment of signing the tender. The $51.85 mentioned in the formula is the unit price for a metric ton of coal in the market in September 2015. As per the formula, purchasing coal under the long-term tender will result in a cost of $73.94 per metric ton. The lowest price quoted under the spot tender was $64.77.
There were allegations of various acts of fraud and corruption. In addition to this, the relevant committee has once again decided to provide the tender to the same company. Why? The committee says there will be no loss, so the Supreme Court is wrong. This government too is following the Rajapaksa example and is kicking aside the decision of the Supreme Court. Not only that, public officials are acting irresponsibly in this case. The government too is working according to the whims of the individual ministers and individual secretaries. We have serious questions regarding the activity and policies of this government.
An agreement reached by the Ministry of Development Strategies and International Trade and an American firm has begun to court controversy.
American firm Sandler Travis and Rosenberg, also known as ST&R, based in Washington, D.C., signed an 18-month agreement with the Ministry of Development Strategies and Internal Trade on the 29th of July. According to the agreement, ST&R will represent Sri Lanka in Washington, D.C. before U.S. government agencies and the U.S. Congress, focusing efforts on educating officials on the peace process in Sri Lanka, exploring options for great economic and commercial ties between the USA and Sri Lanka, as well as identifying and expanding options for market access of Sri Lankan goods into the United States. ST&R has also been tasked with building better relations between Sri Lankan political parties and members of the US Senate, as well as aid in development of agendas in order to assist visiting Sri Lankan delegations. The Ministry of Development Strategies and International Trade has agreed to pay a sum of $630,000 for the services of ST&R over 1.5 years. A monthly retainer fee of $30,000 will be paid for the first and the last 6 months of the agreement, while a monthly retainer fee of $40,000 will be paid for the second 6-month period. The agreement also states that the US firm will require the ministry to submit a separate engagement if they are tasked with additional work which is not specified in the agreement.
I have the agreement here with me. It was mailed to the Voice Against Corruption. According to the agreement, the government has to pay $630,000 for the services of the firm over 1.5 years. That is equivalent to around 90 million rupees. What are they obtaining consultancy services for? Educating about the peace process in Sri Lanka. What qualifications do they have to do this? The startling fact is that even though this agreement came into effect on the 1st of July, the agreement itself was signed on the 29th of July 2016. You obtain consultancy services after entering into the agreement, not before it. Has the cabinet approved this decision to obtain consultancy services? Is there a proper program in place? How are they going to pay for this? Some of these agreements are like the actions of the government.
And that's a wrap of the brief for today. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jithendri Gunasena, reminding you to stay briefed.